All right, good afternoon or good evening. I guess we're on the cusp. It's certainly my pleasure to be here tonight. I am such a big fan of Blue Marble. One of the many reasons I like Blue Marble is how it really emphasizes a holistic approach to developing scientists. Sandra just talked about some of that in his wonderful opening remarks, and so I want to build on that. I am a professional coach. NASA was nice enough to pay for some training for me to go through a professional coaching program. And so one of the things I get to do here at NASA is provide professional coaching, which means I get to work with people one-on-one and help them accomplish goals that they've identified. And to accomplish those goals, I work with them to help them understand what capabilities they bring to life and help them develop new capabilities so they're better able to achieve the goals that they're striving for. Professional coaching, if you get this service and you have to pay for it, it's typically $2,000 to $3,000 in the next 10 minutes or so. I'm hoping to give you all the secrets of coaching for free. All right, so how's that for a good deal? All right, take notes. Yeah. All right, so one of the theories that we learn in coaching is what's called the 6 streams theory. The 6 streams are ways that we engage in life, ways that we show up in life, and the more we are able to apply ourselves in these 6 streams, the more satisfied we typically feel, and perhaps the more successful we are in what we are trying to accomplish. So let me give you an overview of those 6 streams, and then talk about how we can apply that to all of you who are young scientists and are developing, and hopefully you can apply these in holistic ways to help yourself. Figured out the buttons. So the first stream I'll cover is cognitive. That is something that you've probably been engaging in very fully over the last few years. This is where your brain is filling itself up with knowledge, information, how to do things. So it's stimulating the gears in your brain, helping you cognitively figure out how to approach things. The next stream that's important is relational. So all of you scientists are working with other scientists. You're probably working under the tutelage of a senior scientist. You might have some junior level people working underneath you. You're dealing with people all the time. And as you're probably learning, as much as the book knowledge you gain or any of the cognitive information you acquire, that's just not enough. You need to build connections with other people. So we'll talk a little bit about that after I finish talking about these streams. The other stream that's important is somatic, or the body. So the body is your vehicle in which you show up in life. Whether you're working in the lab, you're obviously needing to use your body to get things done in the lab, or you're typing away on your keyboard. So this is the only instrument you're given in this life. And it's amazing how much we take this for granted, how much we abuse our body, how much we assume, especially when we're younger, that it'll be okay, because we're able to endure an all-nighter once in a while. But these bad habits that we start tuning into when we're young, they start accumulating, and when you get to a person of my age, it starts hurting. And so my guidance to you, my guidance to myself 30 years in the past is try to get out of those bad habits, develop some good habits. Emotions. That's something that sometimes we think is an irrational part of our life. Whether it is or is not, it is an incredibly important part of who we are and how we experience things. You give a great talk at a conference, you're elated that it went well. You plan out an experiment and it doesn't go well, you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you're anxious, worried about whether your results are going to come out. These are valid, important emotions. It's important to recognize all that. That's part of who you are as a scientist. Fifth stream is the spiritual side. So answering the big questions in life. So why are we here? What's the meaning of what we're doing here? What is this all amounting to? These may not be questions you ask yourself all the time, but they're rumbling around in the background. Some of us turn towards religion to answer these questions, but you don't necessarily have to be a religious person to have a spiritual side to your life. So, but it's important to always be conscious of that. So those are the 5 things, but I said there were 6 streams. The 6th stream is the integration of all of these. So how do you put these all together in who you are as an individual? How do you show up in life and apply these streams or recognize these streams that are going on in your daily existence? It's important to have awareness, have capabilities in all these different arenas. And if you're able to do all that, you wind up feeling a bit more satisfied, a bit more connected to life, a bit more resilient, a bit more forgiving of yourself and loving of others. I think we'd all like that. So let's talk about how we can develop some capabilities in these areas. Now I'll skip over the cognitive part because I'm going to assume all of you are fully engaged in getting the knowledge, getting the experience you need to be the scientist in the academic sense of things. But let's cover the other things. So relationships. So typically, no, I shouldn't say typically, but a lot of scientists are a little more introverted than extroverted. So being social, connecting with others doesn't always come naturally. Now, you don't have to be the life of the party. You don't have to be super gregarious to be good at relationships. To me, it's all around building connections and being very curious. So as a scientist, you're curious. In relationships, meeting with others, building connections, being curious is also a great way to approach that. You're at a conference, you hear a great talk, you want to learn more about what you learned, go approach that individual, ask them questions. Or you're just meeting someone, and there's so many times it just drives me crazy when we are isolating ourselves because of social media and our smartphones. You see people staying online, no one's interacting, even though they're right next to each other because everybody's on their phone. I wish people could just talk, ask each other questions. How you doing? What's that? What are you ordering? Oh, that sounds interesting. You'd be surprised what connections you can make and what you learn. Body, emotions, spiritual integration. So the next few suggestions I'm going to give you can apply to all of that. One thing that I love to do, actually all these things that I'm going to suggest you do are things that I do. So walking, very simple thing. We do it all the time, but it's something we don't take advantage of enough. So walking between all the different buildings we have here at NASA Ames, maybe you have to take another 5 or 10 minutes of your day to go do that, but it's a wonderful way to cleanse your mind, get rid of whatever you had in that previous activity, clear your mind for the next activity, and you'll be surprised what might come up. Taking long walks in nature. We live in an incredibly beautiful area. We have wonderful weather here. It's a shame we're not taking advantage of things. I try every week to take a long walk, especially in nature. It's a wonderful way to just forget stuff, let go of the things that are nagging me. And then what happens is I start connecting with what is really important, and I get some inspiration. I feel calmer, and then some new ideas come up. The same things happen when I do yoga and meditation. Again, I try to do each of those things at least once a week. Yoga is a wonderful way to get in touch with your body and learn how to use breathing to release tension and connect with different things that you're experiencing. Meditation, if you've never meditated, you want to know how, you do what everybody else does and you Google how to meditate, and you download apps. There are apps you can get for your phone that will talk you through meditation. There's absolutely nothing you have to do except listen to your phone, and your phone will teach you how to meditate. But you do it 5 minutes or 10 minutes, And again, it clears your mind. Doing nothing is wonderful for your mind because right now we cloud our minds with so many things, worries, anxieties, etc., and we don't get to really focus on what's important. If you quiet all that other stuff down, the distractions, your mind will let the real stuff percolate and let inspiration come forward. I think you've all experienced those inspirational moments in the shower in the morning. Part of why that happens is because your brain's been resting. It's been quieting. All that distraction you've experienced previous in your day, all that quieted down while you were sleeping. So when you wake up in the morning, you're refreshed, your brain isn't distracted, and poof, you have that idea to solve that problem that's been nagging at you for so long. You gotta allow a lot of that to happen more naturally throughout your day. And the last thing that I'll suggest you do is called journaling. Again, you guys are scientists, you guys are journaling all the time. You're writing down notes in what you're doing in your lab, writing down your findings. You might as well start doing that for your life as well. You can easily write down observations you make, realizations that come to you, or little things, little questions that start popping up. Any of that and all of that is valuable. And as you write that all down, that starts solidifying that awareness and those insights that you can gain, putting it in your journal. And it's also fun to read later on when you wonder, what was I thinking about a year ago, a few years ago? And lo and behold, there it all is. But anyway, these are all relatively simple things to do. I'm not 100% guarantee that this will make things wonderful, but again, these are relatively simple things to do, and they give you an opportunity to connect into these 6 streams and hopefully help you become a more satisfied and content scientist or person. So, thank you. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity.